Welcome to the Legacy Leaders Podcast. Are you doing the best for your client to help them create their legacy? Are you creating a plan that goes far beyond finances to help people ensure that it becomes the driving force behind all decisions? On this podcast, hosts Katie Beth Hand and Stan Miller will help you with growing your practice and your client's peace of mind. Together, they bring the best and brightest minds to share with you how to help your clients develop their best legacy. And now, here are your hosts, Katie Beth and Stan.
Welcome to the Legacy Leaders Podcast. I'm your guest host, Vance Bennett, and joining me today is elder law attorney Jessa M with Isaac Wiles Law Firm, located here in the greater Columbus, Ohio area. For Jessa, designing, building, and delivering customized estate planning solutions is simply the start. Developing genuine relationships with her clients is her first priority. Jessa, thank you for joining me. Before we dive in, take a few minutes and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thank you, Vance, for having me. I'm an estate planning and probate and elder law attorney here in Columbus. I've been practicing in this area for approximately 10 years. I started with my stepfather and his practice in 2014, transitioned to another firm for a brief period, and then I ended up at Isaac Wiles, and I've been here since 2022, practicing in those same areas.
Great. What inspired you to go to law school?
My mom had a really good friend growing up that was an attorney in our hometown of Delaware, and I shadowed him a couple of times while I was growing up, and I knew that was something that I wanted to do when I was older, and he helped me pursue getting into law school.
Oh, okay. Was there anything in particular that interested or piqued your interest in estate planning?
So not necessarily in law school. I actually was interested in criminal defense work in law school. And then shortly after I graduated, I took a detour and I was in North Dakota practicing for a little bit. And then my stepfather in 2014 offered me a job back here in Columbus doing estate planning and probate. And that's what I've been doing ever since.
Okay. And what made you want to join this law firm that you're with now?
Well, I would say the people that are here. One of my partners here at the firm asked me, to lunch and told me all about the firm and the people there. And it's just a good group of people. And we practice a little bit of everything here, but criminal law, which is nice to be able to cross-refer to other attorneys, whether it's domestic or business or anything like that. And it's been a great ride ever since.
Oh, I bet your clients appreciate coming to your law firm then and pretty much being a one-stop shop for them.
They do. And I get a lot of questions from clients. Hey, I have this situation. Can someone in your firm assist me with this? And I like being that go-to person assisting my clients with whatever their needs are.
Oh, great. Well, that sounds great. It sounds like you have a strong team approach there at the firm.
Yes, absolutely. And that's one of the things I like most about being here.
Great. And do you have an ideal client that you like to work with?
I don't really. I would say I help most people 18 and over with a basic estate planning or probate or elder law. I don't really have any particular set of clients that I want to help. I want to help as many people as I can because this is very important and very few people take the step to do estate planning.
I bet. What do you think that's a common hurdle why people don't take that step to deal with estate planning?
I think a lot of it is the mentality. People don't want to think about dying or being incapacitated. And I think that just stalls them from doing anything at all, and I know it's a difficult topic. It's hard to talk about with people, but it is very important to do and take that step because if you don't take that step, as you know, Vance, it can become more of a mess if something happens.
Yeah. Well, I think that kind of leads into my next question. What are some of the common issues that you're able to help with, clients address?
Yeah, I would say I do probate. I handle when someone passes away. I handle probate here in Ohio as well as Florida. I do basic estate planning, so wills, financial powers of attorney, healthcare directives, and trust planning if that fits for people, whether it's for minor children or whether it's for probate avoidance or possibly even protection from long-term care costs. That's basically the gamut of things that I assist people with.
Are many people aware, or I guess, what kind of situations you run in if people have property in Ohio and Florida?
So that can become a little complicated. I have a decent amount of clients that are snowbirds and they spend, part of the time here and part of the time in Florida. And it's just making sure that things here as well as Florida are structured the same way so that we're, avoiding probate in both places and just making things easier on either a spouse or kids or beneficiaries and just making sure that the plan works in both places.
Oh, I bet people don't even realize that they would have to do probate in two locations.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think people don't understand that. So typically probate is where you're domiciled, so where your primary residence is. But if you also have property out of state that's in your name alone, you have to go through probate in that state as well. And it's different, obviously, state by state. So that's why it's important to have these conversations ahead of time before something happens so that we avoid that, because all that is doing is just costing more money to the estate going through probate in two places, which is something that can be easily avoided.
To be proactive, that's my motto, not
Not
reactive.
reactive, proactive, exactly.
What are some of the common mistakes you see clients make when it comes to estate planning?
So I actually just did a presentation a couple months ago for the Rotary in Marion about the top 10 estate planning mistakes that I see. And I would say the top 3 that I typically see are people not having any plan at all, or people doing their own estate planning, which sometimes it's fine, but I've seen more instances than not that it turns out, not fine and not the way people want. Or people not having beneficiaries on things, which is so easy to do. And it doesn't necessarily involve me, but it's something that people avoid. They don't, if their advisor doesn't tell them, hey, you need to add beneficiaries on these accounts or your bank accounts or life insurance, and they don't do that, could be a huge pain to go through probate, especially for qualified accounts that haven't been taxed yet. It's just one of the easiest things people can do, but I see it missed so often. Either they've got a primary beneficiary and don't have a contingent beneficiary, or the primary dies and the person never updates the beneficiary. I have that happen a lot. And then something that normally would not go through probate goes through probate.
Yeah. Good advice is very valuable.
Yes, absolutely.
With all the success you've achieved, what is the biggest challenge for you now?
I would say the biggest challenge right now for me is keeping in contact with previous clients. That's very important for me, just staying on top of things, because sometimes when people do estate planning, it's one of the things that they just forget about and never look at again. And as you know, things change from year to year. And it's important to make sure that you're staying on top of your estate plan. So I think that's one of the things that I struggle with, is keeping in contact with people. We send out annual newsletters, and that sometimes generates phone calls and things like that. But, just staying in contact with those people and making sure that if life changes or anything like that, they need to give me a call and we need to have a conversation about their estate plan.
Okay. Tell us a story about a client that really impacted you, that you were truly able to help.
I had a lady recently she's 90, and her nephew died here in Columbus shortly after his mother died, which was her sister. So met with her and went through the probate process for not only the nephew, but the sister, because there were things that the nephew did not handle when his mom died. So we had 2 estates going on at the same time. And she's 90, and there's 2 houses that she has to clean out and get on the market and sell. And in addition to all of the stuff that she had to do, there were 2 times throughout the process that people came out of the woodworks, so to speak, that we had
Uh-huh.
no idea about. And I don't know how they found us to begin with, it, because my client did not have any idea who these individuals were. Some weren't even in Ohio, some were in Texas, and nobody really in the family knew these people. So that was just
Wow.
an added complexity that we weren't really expecting. And I honestly have never had that come up before, not only once, but twice in the same probate case.
Yeah.
But we dealt with it. People were not overly thrilled at having to divide it amongst people they had no idea about, but it's pretty smooth besides that. And she was very happy that we were able to get things done in the timely manner that we were able to. I think we were able to close both estates before a year, which is pretty good for two estates and two properties and things like that. And she is just such a lovely lady, and she keeps in touch. She emails and checks in to see how I'm doing and wishes me happy
Oh,
holidays and things like that. So she's definitely someone that keeps in touch and that has really touched me, in my practice.
oh. Well, that sounds wonderful that you're able to help her. And the question that comes in my mind is, what is that ounce of prevention or advice that you could give, maybe not to the sister, but those who, if those deceased people were still alive, like what could have prevented these unknown people showing up into the family and then, sharing in the inheritance?
Yeah, the simple thing the nephew could have done was to do a will and just to say, I want everything to go to X, Y, and Z. And then those individuals would not have been involved at all. His mom did have a will, which said everything went to him.
Uh,
But then, since he survived her,
yeah,
it's like he didn't do the proper planning. And it was just, it was shocking, to be honest with you, that it
yeah,
happened twice, but it is what it is. I'm still shocked that they were able to find us and figure out that there was a connection there, because the family had no idea who they were. So
yeah,
but it's just a simple matter of putting together a will. If you truly don't want the state of Ohio to make a will for you and decide where things can go, put one together yourself. Have an attorney do it for you, because that will take precedence over what the state of Ohio has in store for you.
yeah. I think sometimes we see clients, they weigh the cost of a service versus the benefits of the service. And to me, the peace of mind that I know that my assets are going to go to the people that I want them to go to, and that no one can come in and, challenge that. Is that a value maybe that you feel clients, if they're not seeking out estate planning, do they see that value, or is that just something that goes beyond them?
I think they do. When I mentioned to people that if you don't have estate planning documents in place, the state of Ohio is going to make one for you. They're going to tell you where your assets go. And I think that kind of clicks and resonates with a lot of people, because they, especially if they're married, maybe they just assume that everything will go to the survivor. And that's not necessarily the case, especially in blended families. So I think that definitely resonates with a lot of people, and it makes people want to do estate planning despite, the cost, because there is that peace of mind that you get knowing that things are going to go where they're supposed to go.
Yeah, yeah. And do you offer like a kind of a, maybe someone who's doesn't really know all the value of the services that you provide, or all the value really of estate planning? Can they come in with you and do like a little discovery meeting, that's,
Yeah, so we typically do a complimentary consultation that's about a half hour, 45 minutes. And we go through just the basics of estate planning and why things are important. We don't necessarily get into the nitty gritty of what their plan would look like, but why things are important. And then they can decide whether they want to go forward or not.
yeah. I know I try to convey to my clients all the time, it's better to have it and not need it than to need it
Exactly.
and not have it,
Exactly.
So I hope some people will seek you out. But and so how can people find you if they wanted to, come
I
down
mean,
and have a discovery meeting with you?
I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Facebook, or our website, which is www.isaacwiles.com, and that's ISAACWILES.com. I'm on there, and you can click, and my assistant's phone number's on there, and she can get people scheduled for that complimentary phone call, and then we can go from there.
Great. Now, through the work that you do, what do you hope your legacy will be?
Simply helping people, just being that resource to help people, whether it's with estate planning or probate, or whether it's I'm helping them find someone else, whether it's a financial advisor, whether it's a CPA, whether it's another attorney, just being that go-to person for them.
Well, I can tell that your passion for helping people, it's obvious, but what do you like best about what you do?
Pretty similar. I would say that the clients, just connecting with people and being their go-to person for, estate planning and any other resources that they may need.
I think there's people out there would find that very comforting to know that. Is there anything I forgot to ask you that you'd like our listeners to know about?
I don't think so, Vance.
Well, I do appreciate your time, and I hope that people do take advantage of getting their estate planning taken care of. But this has been the Legacy Leaders Podcast with your guest host, Vance Bennett. Today's show is for general interest and educational purposes. No specific investment advice or legal advice has been given. Vance Bennett is a registered representative, and securities are offered through Fortune Financial Services, and registered investment advisory services are offered through Parallel Equity Advisors. My guest today was elder law attorney Jessa M, who loves to work with clients and help them. And to connect with Jessa, you can visit isaacwiles.com. We will link this in the show notes. And Jessa, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you, Vance. Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year.
You've been listening to the Legacy Leaders Podcast with Katie Beth Hand and Stan Miller. For more information on them and the show, please visit pinnaclelegacylaw.com. If you like what you've learned today, do share the program with your friends and subscribe wherever podcasts are found.